I was born in Siu Cha, Thailand. I was an Air Force brat. My dad was stationed over there during Vietnam, so product of the war. Um, but as far as art and tattooing, I mean, back in the day, tattoos were for just sailors, whores, and convicts. It wasn't a common, acceptable thing. So I've always been around tattoos. All of my family members have served in the military. Draw more, crumple it up, throw it in the trash, walk away, smoke a bowl, have a beer, come back, look at it again. I've just always floated, just went with whatever. I mean, I've always loved art. I went to Miami Institute of Fine Arts. Art was everywhere. As far as, who influences me, a little bit of everything, man. That's what I love about tattooing. It's, some tattoo artists, they lock themselves into one style of art, but a true tattooer is just a tattooer. Art lies in the eye of the beholder. What you consider art, I consider trash. So, as a tattooer, I'm just taking what that person's style of art is and trying to figure out a way to make it their own, and more importantly, apply it as a tattoo art form. Because skin is not paper, it's not canvas. It's a completely different art form. Artisans are the ultimate guardians of history. A good image should be worth 1,000 words. A great image should be worth a lifelong conversation. Symbolism should last the entirety of humanity. So, no, we are the guardians of history. Like, all these images portray a very specific story. You go into, like, Japanese artwork, kois facing certain ways, with certain flowers, with certain things meaning things. You go into Russian prison art, all of these things mean different things. Are you a sergeant? You're a captain? Were you a killer? But good imagery, I mean, even like the removal of history of art, like statues and stuff, I mean, that's tyranny 101. You want to get rid of something, you take away the art, because my little one's not asking me, Dad, what does this statue mean? What does this picture mean? And so I have to tell them the story. Same thing when I have customers come in and they want very specific artwork. Somebody's like, oh yeah, Mayan history. I'm like, why are you showing me Aztec? That's completely different, Why are you're saying you're Celtic, but you're showing me Nordic artwork? These are very different things. So, yeah, I love art for the history. And that just goes back to being a military brat growing up. Like, we were stationed in a lot of different places at a lot of different times, and that was our favorite thing, was just studying architecture and history. Like, what does this picture mean? What does this statue mean? And we have to relay that into our tattoo. If there's anything that bugs the shit out of me the most, is somebody that wants an image and then they can't even tell you what that image is about. I'm like, man, let me give you a history lesson. People that can't sit still, I mean, it's like drawing on a piece of paper and somebody keeps moving the table on you, you just want to punch them and throw your pencil at them. Creativity, just a constant pushing. I mean, there are things that have just been done in such a way for so many years that, yeah, you can kind of change it, and people are like, oh my God, look at that, it's something new. And then there's other times they're like, what the hell's wrong with that? Because we've seen it done a particular way for so many years, whether you've studied the art or not, you've just seen it your entire life. So creativity, trying to push the envelope and creating something new without ruining it. I mean, tattooing is tattooing. You have a lot of artists that paint, they sculpt, they do whatever. My art is on skin. If I'm not doing that, then I'm wrenching on an old Harley or an old Chevy in the garage. Metal would be my other medium. But as far as art-wise, no. I'm going to draw for a tattoo, I'm going to get a tattoo, and that's it. It's constantly changing. It's not a piece of paper, it's not a canvas, it's not flat. We're working on a three-dimensional piece that is constantly moving. It's different. Everybody's shaped differently, so A lot of our struggles in tattooing is when we draw on a flat piece of paper or actually drawing for something that's curved. Everybody's arms are shaped differently. Some have more pronounced muscles, some don't. If you put a circle in the wrong spot, it doesn't look like a circle, it looks like a fucking egg, you know? So that's just the constant changing of it. Still tattooing, so I can't tattoo. Back in the day, we had Flash. People come in, look at Flash. Now we have the internet. A rose is a rose. Is it new school? Is it old school? Is it traditional? Is it a paint style? Is it realistic? So there's different styles of art for the same image. So the creative process is what catches that person's eye. Show me your references, and then I can draw something based off of that. It's not like going to the hardware store and you have 30 different purples to pick from. I got 3. I just love tattooing. Like I said, if I ain't tattooing, then I'm fabricating metal or hot rod image. But as far as art, with tattooing, there's just so many styles of the same imagery. And then on top of that, you take in different people's skin tones, you take in their different pore structures. There's a difference between tattooing an 18-year-old and tattooing a 65-year-old. That's my art aspect of it. Sometimes people are great to work with, and sometimes people are just like parents. Like, change this, change that. And I'm like, lady, it's an infinity loop with a freaking feather. Like, what do you want me to do with it? So yeah, people. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But that's just customer services. Just people that are very direct with what they want, or if they're not, they're very open to my interpretations. Word of mouth. Anybody can pay a company to be at the top of the list, have your shit promoted, but ultimately word of mouth. When people come in, they're like, yeah, I see my coworker or my aunt or whoever got tattooed by you, I love it. They told me your stories, like, you guys have a good time. So yeah, word of mouth. Either you're riding the coattail of a really good shot, or you're just a really good artist. And word of mouth speaks for itself. People can be unhappy with certain things, but when the majority is still hyping you up, then you did something right. Studying how tattoos heal over time, there's a lot of trends that came and gone. And as artists, we're dealing with a living canvas, so there's things that I used to do on a softer side, but 10 years later, it's like, that's too soft, I gotta darken these up. So that has changed my style. I try to tattoo for what that tattoo's gonna look like over time, not what it looks like right now and then. There's a lot of artists out there. Social media is filled with art that, it looks great right now, but show me one single picture in your portfolio. There's none. Why? Because it all looks like shit. Any good career, it's always a struggle. You got work, you got a job. Sometimes I got to put off my kids to do what I need to do for work. Sometimes I got to put off my work and deal with my family. That's always the constant. But you got to find what works for you. Sometimes, especially in the building of a career, you put off a lot of time with friends, family, where you're grinding, working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And by the time I can take time off and have people that I can rely on in the shop, the kids are growing, they're out the door, they want shit to do now. At the end of the night, I'm ready to go home, just like anybody else.
Yes.